Damn, I'm still looking at the Wikipedia page for the Secret Millionaires Club, but I guess I can't even talk about that yet.
No.
Well,
it's
it's a little teaser. It's a little teaser. I mean, we just wrapped our Bill Gates episode that we had with our buddy Ed from This Machine Kills pod, and we stumbled across some very weird shit.
If you want a sneak peek,
is totally enamored us. This weird show called the Secret Millionaires Club, which I think we've already, like, the second you brought it up, Carrie, it was just like a unanimous agreement. Like, we're gonna watch this entire show.
Every episode, front to back,
yeah,
and do like a full breakdown. Maybe that'll come down the pipeline soon.
Once you start watching it, it is just like memorizing. Like I said on the other recording, it was like it started playing randomly while I was like cleaning, and I just like sat down and started like watching it. I was just like mesmerized. It's just so unbelievable.
Here's a good one. Oh wait, did you already read this one earlier? I was just looking at the Wikipedia page, the one about where they go back in time.
No.
Yeah.
They will save young King Arthur's kingdom, and then in parentheses, which has fallen into debt. So there's like Warren Buffett give King Arthur like financial advice. Like,
that's amazing.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Well, I mean, again, we'll have to find out. Tune in to find out. Yeah, together.
I'm gonna pirate the anti-piracy episode of the Secret Millionaires Club.
I don't even know. Yeah, if you find this, please send it to me, because if this isn't on a streaming service, I have no ability to find it.
I think it's on YouTube. I bet it's on Tubi. I bet you it is.
What we definitely won't do is illegally pirate the Secret Millionaires Club. That is not something we condone here.
It is on Tubi.
It is, really?
I knew it.
Another win, another big W for Tubi.
Big dub for Tubi.
There was something on the TV. There was like one of those like banner ads, and it was like the Deuce Bigelow movies are on Tubi. And it's just like, why are you advertising that? like I don't know. You know, one thing I was thinking about this week that I wanted to get your guys' perspective on, and I know this can get into a little bleak territory, but like, it's summertime, and you know, there's a lot of people who are vaccinated now. Mm-hmm. Many of us, in fact,
I think all of
us have gotten the jab. I mean, we can't say for sure, but we'll just say many. Allegedly, many of us have received some form of vaccination or another. But you know, more seriously, I mean, I don't know, a few weeks ago, walking around and ran into somebody, you know, that I knew on the street. And there was this kind of like awkward moment of like, oh, hey, like, you know, I hadn't seen them in a while. And it was like, should I put the mask? You know, like, how do I approach, right? What do you do exactly there? And somebody in their party said, oh, no, it's fine. The pandemic is over. You can like come over. Like, it's okay. And, you know, I don't know. I was thinking about that. And obviously you have like you know, we've talked about like previously with the CDC kind of going like, just balancing like a fucking cartoonish pile of plates, being like, who knows? And there, you know, there's all these kinds of like in between things. And you know, I've been contemplating this because like, you know, the entire pandemic has and continues to be this like huge global disruption, right? And it opens up a lot of dangers and a lot of potentials. You know, it's shifted the way a lot of people like work or go about engaging in commerce or socializing or what have you, right? Like, and, you know, we talked about it at the very beginning of the pandemic, like what's going to stick around, like what's not ever going away. And there was something that I guess I knew, but I hadn't realized until I encountered that person, that there probably will never be like victory over COVID day, where somebody goes on TV and it's just like, it's all done.
I think Biden will do that.
You think he'll still do like victory over COVID? Like they'll just, but the difference there is it's like, it's like the mission accomplished banner,
yes,
right?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Where like you can declare, and maybe when I say victory over COVID day, I don't literally mean like a celebratory backpack, because obviously that'll happen anyway, right?
Yeah.
But like, you know, like there's never gonna be like this kind of concrete feeling of like this was an era and then here was like the clear end of it, or at least I don't know. Will there be? I don't know.
I don't think we're always. This shit's not going away. I mean, this shit is going to be around at least as like a. There's going to be like COVID season, every year.
Right.
I mean, ultimately, that's not totally going away.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I definitely have adjusted like the way that I view it and think about it, and tried to like put it out of my mind more, so we can do things like walk outside without a mask or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, like the real high anxiety portion of it for me is over.
Sure.
But it will just be like the flu, right? And we might have to like get boosters. I guess that remains to be seen. So if we have to get boosters every year, then it'll always be something that's like with us or whatever.
Or it'll be like very like regional.
Yeah.
Like I saw a post today. Somebody posted that there's something only like 37% of like Texas has been vaccinated. So there's like a question of like, will certain areas be safer than others? I mean, obviously for a long time, like the United States, we were like the plague capital of the world, #1 baby, USA. Now there seems to be like, the main growth is occurring elsewhere. But at the same time, it's not like, I don't know, as like new cases are going down, deaths going down, I suppose. Again, I'm not trying to be like totally assertive of like, oh, this is going to be the rest of our lives in this like kind of weird stagnant in between space, but it does seem odd that it's just like, because there is, I think, a cultural push to like declare it being over now because it's summer.
Sure.
Because people are like sick of, whatever, being inside or like not going out and shit. And so everybody wants to like go out now. And I don't know. Again, it's I guess I don't have a profound depth to this thought. It's just been something I've been like laying awake thinking about ever since that person said it to me. Like, is it gonna be over? Is there going to be a finite conclusion to this event? Or is it just gonna be like, this is kind of part of the fabric of the world now? This is just something that we deal with.
I wonder what it was like after like the Spanish flu, if that was
I think about that too. I sort of feel like no, because I mean, it's definitely something that's like known about, like people, but like, I mean,
right.
Did it have a huge cultural impact in any sort of way? It doesn't really seem like it. At least it's been maybe lost to time. If it has, maybe there was for a few years or something.
Well, when Babs visited us last year, we went to the museum with her and Mark, and they had like an exhibit about it, didn't they? About the Spanish flu.
Right. That was like right before
right
the
before
pandemic.
it was like a couple of weeks before, I think. But so I think stuff like that will stay with us because there is like such a huge impact from it. But I do think that like for me, just again out of a need to like maintain my own sanity, and I'm sure like, I don't know, maybe somebody will get mad at me for saying this, but I just have had to adjust like the way that I like look at it in order to like be able to feel normal, being able to go outside, and I'm trying to like not view it as like the most dangerous, like desperate, helpless thing, because it was very overwhelming.
Well, we're also vaccinated
now.
Yeah. So
there's like, I've seen people saying like, even if you're vaccinated, do XYZ, and I feel like that can contribute to like a feeling of like despair, like, oh, even if you're vaccinated, nothing is going to change or whatever. And so I do think that like culturally people are like moving away from that mindset, probably just to again maintain their own sanity, because otherwise then you have to feel like it can never be fixed, which is like a horrible way to look at it. I
mean, another kind of model, right, is something like, if you think about like the plague, right, the Great Plague, the Black Death, right, like that did its fair share of killing huge groups of people.
Sure.
And then, but it was regional, it was geographical. There was less, ease of access in terms of just like travel and distance, so it didn't hit everywhere at once. It staggered, and like, if you look at like a map of the plague in 1300s in like Europe or whatever, you can see like where it cropped up at different times. And sometimes there'd be like a year or 2 years, it would kind of it would go through an area, it would ravage it, and then it would mostly die out, but then it would pop up somewhere else. And then of course, after the big event of, I don't know, about like a decade of that, when it killed a third, a half, something like that of Europe's population, it would like pop up every now and then. Like in the next few hundred years, it would just be like, oh, there's a plague outbreak here, and like that whole city is dead. Sure. But it eventually died. It took a couple centuries, but it's mostly on the margins now.
Cool.
We're pretty much safe from the Black Death.
Yeah. Speaking of infectious diseases, a really good book, if you have not read it, and it's also got made into a good Hulu series, is The Hot Zone. So that's just a little book recommendation for our listeners. It's about hemorrhagic viruses.
Very nice.
It's the Hulu series is quite good. It's an adaptation of the book. The book is about like real stories of like people who worked with like, the Marburg virus and other hemorrhagic viruses and the spread of like Ebola. It's pretty good. Big fan. I've read it a couple times. It's quite good.
I love a good hemorrhagic virus.
Eat the Disease podcast.
I mean, I think the other thing that I put it in reference to, because at the very beginning of, you know, the pandemic and the lockdowns and stuff and the kind of great wave of uncertainty, one of the things that we talked about a couple of times on the program is like how, you know, post 9/11, all this like weird security theater shit got introduced.
Right.
That even at the time it was very clear that this would not like improve security in any meaningful sense.
Sure.
But it would like kind of make people feel better during like a time of great panic.
Sure.
And, you know, now, whatever, 20 years on, like a lot of those things are still with us. Like when you go to the airport, you know, you have to like take off your shoes.
Right.
You know, like kind of meaningless
Unless
gestures.
you pay to not have to take off your shoes.
Right, exactly. Which again indicates how stupid and pointless it is. Right. And so the thought that we kind of mulled about then, you know, about, I don't know, a year plus ago now, was like, what things that have been introduced during the pandemic will also be residually just left. Right. You know, like what's, you know, and I think like, similar to like the war on terror, right? Like that never ended. Sure. There was, I believe it was like 2013. Oh, the Obama administration like made an official proclamation that like the war on terror was over, even though they still had like, you know, huge military assets engaged. Like nothing like was interrupted in the actual prosecution of like imperial goals of the war on terror. But they like announced like that event is over. We're not gonna call it that anymore.
Yeah.
And so that but it never really like, I don't even like, I had to look that up.
Right.
And as somebody who's like was obsessive about that, particularly like in my teens and 20s, like that never trickled down to me, that like official proclamation. Like I later discovered that because I assumed it, you know, it had just flared up. It was something like on the forefront of all like major official communication. Like this is a state of being that we're in, and then it just kind of like fizzled into the background, and then it just became part of the permanent furniture of the American empire.
Yeah,
it was just like, oh yeah, like we're in Afghanistan. Like that'll just be forever, like, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so that's similarly like with the pandemic, like announcing like, okay, this is an event,
right?
That is a social event that its relationship to the actual like disease itself or the science is sort of irrelevant,
right? Because
it's a declaration of an event, right? Like, so like when is that going to be over? And I think that, regardless of what actually happens with the virus, is just it's probably just going to fizzle into the background. There might be a proclamation, like a Biden one, you know, maybe Christmas, like he promised, and be like, you know, my fellow Americans, it's Christmas.
Fruitcake.
Santa is vaccinated. I can't do it like Dwight.
No,
I wish
we miss him.
Yeah.
I do think that there will be like stuff that remains, or I hope that remains, like, you know, wearing a mask when you're sick or whatever, which was already like the cultural norm in other countries. I do hope that stays.
We were just talking about that yesterday. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of hope for that. I think again that'll be the kind of thing that maybe it's going to be dependent on the area. Like I could see maybe that taking off in like, you know, New York or Los Angeles or someplace like that. But
of course, some people are never going to wear it. But
yeah,
you know.
I mean, here it feels like it's pretty much. I mean, you know, masks were less common here in Tennessee,
right?
Always, but like, especially now, it's like, yeah, it's very much. It feels very much over here if you go out and around.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it really, like, I feel like here it varies almost from day to day. Sometimes you'll go somewhere and nobody's wearing a mask, and other times there's lots of masks. Like, the thing that freaked me out was when we were taking a walk and we came across, like, that really, really big crowd of people for the graduations, and there were, like, dozens and dozens of people without masks. And that was, like, a few weeks ago now. So it was a little weird. Like, I think that feeling that I had when I saw that was, like, a, you know, residual feeling of like, we're in a pandemic. I can't believe this is happening.
Right.
And I think that feeling is something that will probably like stay with people for a while, even though that was probably fine.
Sure. Yeah, and again too, I want to avoid any kind of moral trap of like, immediately making some snap judgment on one perspective or another, because like, this was a traumatizing experience, right?
Sure,
like both
it
on a
sucked.
social level, but on personal level for a lot of people ttoo, right? Like if you know,
I mean, a lot of
somebody-
people lost people. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had members of my family die
Yeah.
during this time period. And, it was like a weird and challenging thing. And like, it's understandable then if there's going to be like residual caution that maybe outlasts the actual event itself, which is why I'm questioning sort of like the social official proclamations. I really feel like, I don't know, and maybe this is because I don't like, we're not like plugged into like, I don't know, like official communication via like, I don't know, like cable news or something.
Right.
But I just feel like the main feeling I had throughout the entire experience of this, and I continue to have, is just like, I don't know what the state wants of me or is asking of me. Like, as a subject, I have no fucking clue
Right.
what I'm supposed to do or not do. Like, I have zero comprehension, and I like to feel like I'm a pretty in tune guy. Like, I'm plugged in. I'm with it. I wouldn't say hip necessarily, but I have devices. I have objects that connect me to some kind of network of communication, and the whole feeling has just been like, okay. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
This is why we need like parades and triumphs.
Is that what we need?
Yes, we need like
What kind
Biden.
of parade?
Biden needs to do like a Roman
ticker tape
triumph.
Parade,
All right, you guys and gals.
And he just like falls off a float and dies. That'd be dope. I think he should do that.
He's dressed in like Roman purple with like a wreath on his head, like standing on like a parade of like a mountain. Sorry, Chris, you were just
it's totally unrelated. I'm just deep down the hemorrhagic fevers
Yeah,
rabbit
dude.
hole on Wikipedia.
All right, hit us.
You
Oh, I
have
don't know. I went down from the Wikipedia article about the hot zone, about the book you were referring to, and then I went to the Reston virus, which I've never heard of before. I am familiar with Reston, Virginia, but then that led me down to the animal that it originated in, which I've also never heard of before, which is called the crab-eating macaw. I didn't know that was
Keep going, dude.
a type of monkey. Yeah.
Definitely watch the
sure.
TV series. It's quite good.
Yeah, this is a goofy little motherfucker. He's got like buck teeth. He's got like a gap between his teeth. Hell yeah.
He's dead now. Oh my god. They were going to make a documentary based off the Hot Zone. Listen to this. It was announced in 2019. The film was set to be executive produced by Betsy Forhan and features interviews with subjects including Richard Preston, Dr. Naheed Badelia, Dr. Anthony S. Fauci.
Oh shit, it's all adding up.
Oh shit.
There you go.
There it
ladies and
is.
gentlemen.
It's that simple.
Breaking.
What do
Breaking
we think about all of a sudden the like very oddly I feel like all of the like the credible news outlets or whatever or like the media establishment are now like sort of like floating the lab leak idea of the origin of the virus. Very strange.
It's just like anti-China shit, right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. It's just like they can't miss the opportunity to like try to drum up the new Cold War.
it's the new Russiagate. It's really weird. Like honestly, like my feeling about it is like, who cares where it came from at this point?
Yeah. I mean, I think like, again, this ties to this kind of confusion of official proclamation, because I think that the only way that a purely like, imperially driven like kind of communication system can process this eventually is to like ascribe blame, right? It's like whose fault is it? Like who? Because like, I mean, this
That's
is
a really good point.
This is somewhat old hat, but like, there was a long thing, at least my experience in like the anti-war movement, right, where it was just like understanding that there was often these calls in the press and in just popular culture as a whole, like when something would happen internationally, that like something must be done,
Right.
like the United States must do something, and almost always what that actually translates to, whether or not the person saying that even means it, right, is like some kind of military intervention or action, right? Like what else could be meant by like we need to do something about this?
Right.
And that does seem to be somewhat caught up as well in the idea that like suddenly it's like it's open to question.
Right.
What was COVID a weaponized attack against the United States? In the same way, it's like an immediate way to to try and reconcile something that is unknowable within a communications frame that requires, you know, like dramatic actors, right? Like it needs a villain, like there, and
I need
you know,
a narrative
while Trump,
to explain
but
this
it needs.
to me.
I mean, importantly, it needs an outside villain. Like the blame can't be put on, you know, structural failure at every level of the United States government.
Right.
No.
I mean, even like when Trump was president, right? Like the liberal press did have something of a villain in his administration because they did do a lot of things poorly. Like they did a lot of things wrong. But the deeper question, right, is like, you know, obviously, like, you know, Trump is dumb as like a human being and like bad at managing things and surrounds himself with like sycophants and like greedy idiots. And so if you put those people in charge, like they're going to like fuck up something that requires like actual like, you know, social planning. But the reality is it's not like before he became president there was like this amazing infrastructure that would have been able to, you know, prevent the horrible loss of life and the spread of the virus and everything. And that's where then, like you were saying, Chris, like that would be then like the structural thing.
Yeah,
right?
we don't
like,
want to confront that.
And so, you know, and sort of similarly, like talking about like, as you brought up, Carrie, like Russiagate or whatever, right? It's like part of the reason why that became so prevalent was because there was this great unknown that like, you know, whatever the liberal literati just couldn't comprehend, which is like, how could Trump become president? This cannot happen. There can be no other explanation except some kind of conspiratorial villain. Well, you know, and so as a result, then it becomes an external threat. It's like, oh, Donald Trump's un-American, he's Russian, whatever, you know, he's a Russian
Putin's
asset,
bitch.
whatever. Yeah, that, all that ludicrousness where it can't just be like, maybe this entire project is like a big dumb waste. And so like a big dummy actually serves as kind of a perfect, you know, avatar of that.
I wonder if like the lab leak theory is going to become like as big as Russiagate in terms of like, because what I was thinking when you were saying that is like, it's not just that people like believed in Russiagate, it was like the obsessive fervor with which they believed in it. You know, it wasn't like a passing thing of like, oh, Russia did this. It was like, I need to read about this and talk about this literally all day.
Right.
So it's weird as well, and in that it really like almost seemed like just like an orchestrated push on behalf of like the media establishment to just sort of float the idea like, hey, maybe it did come from a lab in Wuhan. We don't know, you know?
Right.
I mean, speaking to the obsessive fervor of it, I mean, you did a little quote tweet thing of this today, Carrie, but there was the Time magazine cover came out like yesterday.
Wait,
where it's like Biden takes on Putin.
Oh, man.
No.
I had a nightmare about it, dude.
Here, let me Chris, let me send
He's
it to
gonna
you
make
right now.
Putin America's bitch.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But for the listener, it's a visual. And the cover it's like a you know, photorealistic drawing of Biden wearing those like mirrored aviators, and then in the mirror
It's Putin.
Is Putin. Which, by the way, if you're gonna do like an artistic rendition of this, the thing that you immediately failed to do is the like Matrix double mirror thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Putin should be have his hand out in both pictures, and like it's like a different colored pill or something. Like just on pure aesthetics, like it's dog shit.
This reminds me of that artist that you showed me that has like the weird conspiratorial, realistic looking paintings.
Oh shit!
That's what it reminds me
I'm pretty
of.
sure I know
What's
who this
his
guy
name?
is. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
David Dees. David Dees.
That's what this reminds me
Oh my
of.
god.
David
Dees
It looks
shit
like
is
a
incredible.
bit. Like it doesn't look real, you know? Like
Yeah, it's like I mean, I'm sure some of our very, very well discerning audience, especially if you're a Patreon subscriber, is already deeply familiar with David Dees. But if you aren't, just
David Dees nuts.
boom!
Oh, got him. Look up just Dees, so DDEES
Nuts.
on Google image search, and he's like for a while, I guess the kind of political camp I would put him in, which was just sort of like libertarian quack, sort of like
this is where Ben Garrison came from. This is the tradition that Ben Garrison comes from.
Late 2000s,
around the like the
2010s.
financial collapse, like the recession, like the sort of like weird libertarian, anti-Obama push of like the around 2009, 2010.
Vague anti-corporate,
Yeah. Right,
kind
right.
of
Anti Federal Reserve Bank in like big quotation marks because we all know what that really means.
Right. But it would be these weird photorealistic kind of Photoshop drawings that would depict, the most literal kind of translations of various conspiracy ideas, right? So it would be like the one I always go to is there's one where it's like there's like a child whose like skull cap has been removed and the top of their brain is exposed, and there's like a bunch of scientists like injecting their brain with various fluids, and one of them has like a lab coat that says like Monsanto, and one says like TV,
Right.
and one says like like sugar in food,
Right.
The kind of stuff where if you encountered it early on, it's vague enough to be like, I guess it's like sort of anti-authoritarian, anti-corporate, whatever. But ultimately, I do believe Dees did some like pro-Trump kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like I think they kind of made the similar turn that they're sort of like the Alex Jones type trajectory, where it was just like a vague, like it was like a lot of 9/11 conspiracy stuff. In fact, here's a really good one that I have to send to you guys.
I'm looking. I'm looking through all his shit on Google Images right now.
He's checking out the catalog.
Yeah.
Here, I just dropped this one in the Discord channel.
Let's see it.
Oh, I haven't seen this.
Oh,
one.
that's amazing.
Yeah, that's a. Does somebody want to describe it? Who's not me?
Well-
I don't even. Okay, so yeah, I mean, what we're seeing here, we're seeing the lawn of the White House, and on the White House, there's a big banner that reads 9/11 Remembrance. There's also a pride flag for some reason. Also, on top of the White House, there is the Israeli flag flying higher than the American flag.
Right, and larger. It's larger than the American flag.
The Federal Reserve Bank. I mean, this, we know what these guys are really.
There's like a
talking about.
commercial drone.
Yes.
There's like a quadricopter drone.
Are those snipers on the roof?
Yeah,
Okay.
Hell yes.
Yes.
Yeah, there
Yes.
are. But then we've got like what looks like a Secret Service type guy in like black sunglasses and a black suit and tie, and he's surrounded by a red velvet rope, and then behind him is the Twin Towers, and then in the foreground of the image we have two police officers, one of whom seems to be carrying like a Batman style bladed weapon on his back. You see the one I'm referring to, the guy on the right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
dude.
and they are pointing at they're pointing their guns at the Building 7 from the World Trade Center that has a pair of human legs coming out the bottom of it.
Right. Yeah.
A lot going on here.
Sorry.
The Batman weapon on the back of the cop's back is what's really getting me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's very. Also, quite a lot of this is like very clearly anti-Semitic,
Yes.
right?
Of
like
course, of
just to
course.
mention it, right? Like, but it's playing through all these various different tropes. Here's one of the more like classic ones that I remember kind of first encountering. This is sort of the thing I was describing, where it's like this appears to be a
Let's see.
I suppose how would you describe this image? It's like a portly.
Oh, what is
man.
that? He's got like his brain out. He's in a car wash.
He's in a car wash.
His brain is exposed. He's in a car wash.
He's got two
And-
syringes coming in from either side to his neck.
Correct. His
Right.
eyes are pointing in different directions.
He's making
He's
like
doing
a
like the-
crazy
yeah,
face,
like
He's doing like ahegao.
Ahegao.
Yeah, I was trying to. That's the word I was trying to come up with.
We got it.
Yeah.
and then
Right.
there's like screens surrounding him.
Are these like
on all
made
different
up
sides.
news networks? Is that what
That's-
that is?
yeah,
I
it
think they're
looks like
made
it.
up, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so he's being brainwashed.
Oh,
ostensibly.
I didn't get that because it was so subtle.
Oh yeah, you didn't.
No.
Yeah, that's probably good that I explained
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Then. And then unfortunately, like here's like something else that just came up in the quick search. And this is just like
No.
This is just Trump building the wall. This is a more recent David Dees. I believe he died.
He is dead.
Oh, rest in peace.
yeah.
Why does Trump have like
Yeah.
a gun on his lapel?
Yeah, well, because it's the Ben Garrison fantasy of Trump.
He's got second on his tie. Is that like supposed to be like in support of a second term, you think? Or is there some deeper meaning there?
I was thinking maybe Second Amendment. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
great point. You got the gun and you got the Second Amendment.
Okay, yeah. He died in 2020. I wonder if he died of COVID.
Wow. That's so sad.
Yeah, very, very possible. I mean, he was very, like, anti-vax, one of those, like, climate change is a hoax, like, everything is a hoax, but through this, like, very, like, a kind of American libertarian perspective, right? Like, and
if you Google Dee's death, it brings up the death of Dee Blanchard, so that's not what you're looking for, just letting you know. I will try to find the real obituary of this man.
Oh, this can't be true.
Oh my god, I just found his like obituary page. Somebody wrote on like the guest book thing like a couple months ago, David Dees was a legend. His artwork, music, and kind soul will be greatly missed. I used to love his streams on Facebook where he'd sing and play guitar. He was tremendously talented in more than a few ways. I'll miss his art, music, and his sense of humor. R.I.P. David. Love Joe Dubs. But then they attached several of his like art images, which are all obviously horrific. So that's just permanently in this man's obituary online now.
Well, I mean, that is his legacy.
Yeah.
I don't think there's really a chance or a reason for him to get to escape this. I just discovered something through this Google search that I'm waiting for Chris to return from his journey to the Pentagon to reveal to the rest of you. Okay, so when I looked up David Dees, his full name, if you do the regular Google search, not the Google image search,
right.
and I recommend just put it into Google and see what comes up. For me, on the right, there's a list of books that he did illustrations for, and it appears from 2008 to 2009, he did illustrations for Sesame Street books.
Oh my gosh.
So here's a book, Giggly and Wiggly.
Sure.
A book about feelings, and that appears to be Cookie Monster and Elmo dancing. And then from 2008, What Do You Hear, Dear? It's Elmo and some other character. Please and Thank You, a book about manners. And it appears he got the gig to do these sort of photorealistic drawings of the Sesame Street puppets in like a children's book. And from
Did you send this to the chat?
Oh, would you like to see it?
Yeah, I mean,
okay. Sure.
Clearly, it's Saturday night, baby.
Yeah, what the fuck else are we doing?
What the fuck else am I gonna do?
It's so good, too, because the other books that he's done illustrations for are like, I'll just give you an example. 2018, Socialism or Extinction. The choice is ours.
Well, I'm looking at one right now. It's from the December 2015 issue of Sheeple. Is this? I don't know if this is a real.
Is that a real magazine?
I don't know.
I think that's just. Is that the QAnon one?
I don't know. There's
describe?
several of them. I've seen the QAnon one, but there's several that is supposed to look like the cover of this magazine called Sheeple, which may very well be a conspiracy theory.
Oh my
magazine.
God.
I'm not sure, but this one, speaking of Putin, it's got like half of the panel is like GMO USA, and it talks about Zionist controlled West is enforcing food poisoning GMOs, and on the right side of the panel, it's got this like beautiful green field, like this row of crops, and then this like idyllic farm and this mountainside behind it, and then over the horizon above the mountain is Putin, and like he's like glowing like heavenly gold.
Nice.
And it says, and he's got a crucifix next to him, and it says, "Russia bans GMOs, now major exporter of world's organic food. Putin revives Christianity, returns moral values of Christian culture."
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that you're putting all these images in the episode research channel. That's really
well,
great.
this counts as research.
It is.
I've seen this guy's work for about at least a decade. I remember seeing it when I was in college.
Is this him with the purple hair?
And I don't know anything about the guy. Like, I wish I had some more insight into who he was and where he came from and stuff. This is like, for me, he was such a defining element of like, because again, for me, like, I think a lot of the path towards radicalization, or whatever you want to call it, for me was defined by like interest in the anti-war movement, and then participation and like doing stuff and that kind of activism. And so in like, you know, the late 2000s and early 2010s, when I was getting into that, like, you know, if you were doing that, I guess, as I was, as a somewhat uninformed person, or, you know, without like a full crystallization of like an exact like model of politics in which to ground that, like, you encountered a lot of this kind of like libertarian stuff, right?
Sure.
Like, you know, like, because there are a lot of prominent people in that camp, and then eventually they all coalesce around like the Ron Paul kind of love revolution, or whatever the fuck that was called. And so I would like see this kind of stuff, and just like going through like different people's blogs and what have you, talking about like, you know, criticisms of the military industrial complex. And I would always encounter this guy's stuff, and I'd be like, what the fuck? This is way off the map here.
Yeah.
Like, but just out of sheer, again, aesthetic appreciation, I was like, this is so batshit crazy. And the images are clearly made with such care and attention.
Yeah. I mean, it's excellent work, you know. I mean, he really put time into this.
And it's also each image, similar to like the Ben Garrison thing, where they're like each component to the Ben Garrison cartoon has a label. The David Dees, like, every single thing that's there has a meaning.
Right.
And this is the aesthetic triumph of David Dees over Ben Garrison, is that he didn't always have to label it. You know, you don't need to put a little sign that says what they are if it's a mad doctor holding a syringe.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
you already know.
I know what you're saying, David Dees. Virulent anti-Semite.
No,
I want to make it
awful.
clear. I am not saying anything good about David Dees.
I came across like the Rational Wiki page for him, which has a picture that I assumed was photoshopped of Trump holding one of his anti-Semitic awful paintings up. I'm assuming it's Photoshop, but the funny thing is that I right-click Google searched it because I wanted to see, and the suggestion from Google is Independence Day for that image.
I just threw one in I just threw a link in the Zoom chat if you're able to see it. Are you able to see
Let's
Hillary
see.
Land?
I've seen Hillary Land.
Land.
Yeah.
Oh, in the Zoom chat. My bad.
Yeah. I don't know how to sending it to the Discord on the computer.
Oh my God, that
read.
is.
Yeah.
Oh, is Israel organ sales?
So yeah. So we're looking
Jesus
Benghazi
Christ,
massacre.
We're looking
dude.
at the Hillary Land amusement park. There's like the Freemason, like the all-seeing eye or whatever.
Oh man.
We've got like various roller coasters featuring Hillary and Bill in the background.
Bill's rape ride.
Bill's rape ride. Benghazi massacre. Email avalanche.
Oh my
Hillary's
God.
skeleton closet. The whitewater log ride. That's kind of good, actually.
Oh man, this is a lot happening in this image.
It is a lot. Yeah. Hold on. You know what? And what was recommended on this Pinterest page is some Ben Garrison.
Absolutely.
There you go.
It
Comes
is.
full circle.
If you like this, you might like.
Yeah, Ben Garrison, by the way, is back on Twitter. He
he back?
is back on Twitter doing his thing.
Guess who's back?
I'm surprised he didn't win the
Back
editorial
again.
cartoon Pulitzer. Nobody got.
There's not enough labels.
Yeah.
You need more labels. Effective political satire requires extensive labels to let you know what everything is.
Wait, what's Ben Garrison's at?
I dropped another one in
let me
the
see.
Discord here for you to look at.
Is it Cartoons Ben? Oh, he got banned.
He did get banned.
I
Yeah,
was
he's banned.
blocked before.
Oh, it is Cartoons Ben. His new one is at Cartoons Ben.
I'm so
told This is
happy.
him. This does. I was told this is him. This does appear to be him.
Your
He certainly-
sources say this is him.
He certainly posts. He certainly posts very much like the old Ben Garrison,
We'll find out.
and features his new art. So the Ben Garrison tweet that it was floating around in my mind again a week or so ago. And it was only like a couple days before he got banned, but it was the one where he was complaining about like Twitter deleting followers from him. But the way it was phrased, it was like Twitter just sucked off 500 of my followers.
I'm just gonna keep dropping these.
Yeah, please.
All right, let's do
by all
it.
means.
This is the
Yeah.
show now.
I have a there's Al Gore, The Church of Climatology.
Classic.
Yeah.
This is another one that appears to just be a
Oh my God, that's
I saw this one. This was good. I'm sure our
offensive.
listeners are very much appreciating
Epstein
this,
is back there.
this very visual bit here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, again,
Just use your imaginations, everybody.
If you're on your parents' computer, incognito tabs,
What?
or on a loved one's computer, you might want to scrub the search. But look at just Google image search David Dees.
Oh, this is gross. What is the significance? I have two questions. What is the significance of the delivery in 33 minutes? And what is the significance of the skull with 322 under it? What does that mean?
Oh, that's got to be.
We gotta figure this out. We gotta figure this out.
It's got to be some kind of numerology.
I did the thing where they replaced the numbers with the letters, but 33 only gives you CC.
Yeah, I don't think that's it.
Give you anything.
I'm gonna Google
322
skull,
is CBB.
322.
Yeah. This is going to be something so horrible.
Skull and Bones is order 322. So that's a Skull and Bones reference.
What about the 33 minutes?
We're going to figure this out. 33.
Yeah, there's something here.
Let's see.
Why are there hot dogs? I don't understand the hot dogs.
Well, it's a classic.
Well, that was in the emails.
Oh, was it?
In the email leaks, yeah, it was something because there was some because it was like Podesta and whatever the other DNC people, and they would talk about catering, their events, and I remember at the height of Pizzagate there was this intensive breakdown post I read once in my travels that was how each particular food item is a secret code word for a different type of child, sex slave or whatever, and hot dogs had some particular meaning. I know with pizza there were different toppings,
right,
and different things. So if you said pepperoni pizza, that meant
a certain type of child,
right?
What I always wondered about that is what if somebody, what if somebody comes in, believing that is true? What if somebody comes in the comment ping pong and they don't know the code words and they're like, "Hi, I would like a medium anchovy pizza," and then you summon them to the back room and they're like, "No, what are you doing? I just want the pizza."
Well, then you kill them. They just kill them. That's just what happened. It's really sad.
Here's the last one that I wanted to do.
Okay.
But I dropped it in the Discord.
All right, let's see.
This is a classic.
I was just looking at this one, yeah.
This is a Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
A Thanksgiving
just another Thanksgiving in America.
Tableau.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of people inside a house, and in the background there's a flat screen TV and also a security camera. Right?
Oh my God, this is crazy.
And all the people there are, they're quite portly. Would go so far as to say they're obese. It's caricatures of obese people.
Does he hate Americans? Is that?
And they're all eating. There's a
sheeple.
gluttonous array of not just turkey, but there's spaghetti and meatballs. There's mac and cheese. There's a bag of Skittles, which is haphazardly spilled open. There's a little shaker can of MSG.
Sure.
So I guess you pour extra MSG, and then in the through the window of this suburban home, you can see there is a group of Native Americans who have various protest signs, including an anti-fracking sign, I'm assuming a chemtrail logo, and they're looking in with disdain or shock, I guess, at the group of white Americans eating. There's one woman in the foreground who has a giant bowl of mac and cheese. She's bringing up with no utensils to her face, and she also has a large pin that says "I heart mac and cheese."
The child who is second from the right, who's eating the bowl of spaghetti, looks like that. I've seen David Dees basically just copied a meme. Is this the Indonesian kid?
Right,
that's
I think.
Who is this? I've seen this kid before.
These again. What I believe his. I mean, I don't want to speak for the artistic,
right, of course,
thing, but I do believe that many of these images, the reason why they look so photorealistic is because they employ a sort of rotoscope technique.
This is just photo manipulation, right? He's just
where he takes photographs of actual people and things and then inserts them and then filters them or draws over them in some manner to give them all the veneer of the same kind of style. But it's very clear, just given the sort of the shading and what have you, that these are actual photographs.
By the way, I just noticed notice there's also, like, the woman all the way to the right, in front of that, like, gravy boat in front of her, there appears to be a walnut, like a single walnut sitting on the table, which, again, back to the Podesta emails, walnut sauce, adrenochrome.
Oh, okay.
I believe that's the, association he's trying to make here. Walnut sauce is secret code for adrenochrome.
I literally cannot help myself but to continue to drop images of these into our common group chat.
Oh, that's bad.
So we don't need to continue to discuss them.
Don't describe this one.
Okay, yeah.
That's a bit much. Oh my god.
But yeah, again, we're having some play with this because the images themselves are so ridiculous.
They're so shocking.
Let it be very clear that this is not somebody we're even ironically saying.
No, this is awful.
This is a quite insane.
I think this guy was unwell.
Set of ideas. Yeah. You think?
Yeah. yeah.
Based on this, yeah, he was certainly one of them. And he's dead now. So
well, rest in piss, honestly. I think I said rest in peace earlier, but I changed my mind after this last cartoon.
Yeah.
Bye. All right. Well, does anybody have any happy news from this week?
Yeah. How about a little nice bump?
I like the reaction in Discord to the last thing you sent from our beautiful editor.
It's adorable. I was just admiring. You mean Dwight's GIF?
No, I was talking about the emote reaction. I didn't see a GIF from Dwight. Did Dwight send us a GIF?
He did. It's in the episode's research channel where we're
This is not research.
Dumping all this stuff.
I don't see the GIF. I don't see it. There's too much stuff in here. I'll just assume it was something really nice. Oh, there it is. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, it's that's
Bashful? Cute. Yeah, that's Bashful from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Mm-hmm.
Do not include any of this in all right, what's the
we should have mentioned this before, but obviously Dwight is not with us tonight, but he is still in deep cover.
Yes,
mapping out the basement space of the Pentagon.
That's right. Gotta see how many bathrooms are in there.
But hopefully he will be returning to us soon. But it is always nice. But we have our little communications channel where we talk about like developing ideas for the show and scheduling, getting guests on, how we're going to divvy up the various research things. And at this point, there are so many different channels that sometimes I get distracted. Maybe I've had a little bit too much to drink, and so I just realized I've been dumping all of these horrible propaganda images into our episode research channel, and Dwight has been responding without any of the context of this conversation and with great incredulity. But
there it is.
What can you do? What can you do?
We will not explain this.
What can you do about it, folks? We aren't. He can listen to the.
He's not allowed to listen to it.
He can subscribe like anybody else. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So should we just cut this whole
30 minutes of talking about David Dees?
Just start again. All right. What were we talking about before? Oh, COVID.
Welcome to Eat the Rich, the only Patreon podcast about infectious disease and racist cartoons. I wonder what he would. No, I'm just gonna stop.
It requires its own level of like depth. It can't be lightly engaged with. That's the problem.
Here's the problem. We usually record Patreon first, and I usually like start drinking like towards the end of that. But this time we recorded the regular episode first, so now I'm already like fully drunk.
Right.
And my brain is like, what's up?
Yeah, it's in Dees mode, dude.
It's in Dees mode.
Dees Town.
Dees nuts.
Welcome to Dees Town. Ladies, drink free.
Welcome to Eat the Dees.
No.
Cut that.
No.
No, don't cut it. Don't cut it. I've been playing Red Dead Redemption.
Oh, where are you? Did you just start the story over?
I started the story because I was talking to our friend Jenna.
She hasn't played through the whole thing.
Yeah, so I want to play it online, so I wanted to play the story mode first to get a feel for the controls, which I think it'll probably take another like 20 hours. I think I probably played about like 6 hours so far. Shane, does that sound right?
Yeah, she just got to chapter 2.
Yeah,
so she just got to like Valentine, and it was funny because that's that's the moment where the game kind of opens up a little bit. And you can do stuff. So the first thing she did is she went into Valentine and she like spent like an hour and a half in the general store, like buying a brand new outfit.
I think I look really
and
nice.
then she was like, let me go pick up this mission that's in the saloon across the street. And of course, that mission ends with like a giant mud fight.
I was so upset.
Where all your clothes get, and she was so upset.
I know
that like all of her clothes got ruined.
I'm pretty sure I did the exact same thing when I first played through, because you get to Valentine and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to the inn and I'm gonna
get a bath.
Get a bath, get my hair done, get some new clothes. Yeah, I did all that, and then you get into the fight and you get all muddy, and then like the story like tells you, okay, now go get a bath and change your clothes.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm really terrible at it. So hopefully I will improve.
You're fine at it.
It rules. It rules.
I'm excited to play online and see.
I want to play. Like. I played through Resident Evil Village recently, which fucking ruled, and then I like played through most of the storyline again, because you get like, once you go back through, just like in I think pretty much all Resident Evil games, you get to like restart the story with the weapons you ended the first playthrough with. So I was like going back through with an assault rifle, but there is an online version of Resident Evil Village, which I think it wasn't online when I first got the game, but I'm pretty sure it is now. I should definitely check that out.
Okay.
I've been back on Civ 6 again.
I'm gonna start playing The Sims again soon, because they're adding farming to The Sims.
I never played The Sims. I never played SimCity or any of those games.
I only started playing it this year, I think.
Yeah, like I know I would like it too.
Yeah, you definitely would. I mean, you can do really like fucked up stuff. I don't mean that in a weird way.
I'm not even gonna say what video games I've been playing. They're all horrible. I got back into Crusader Kings 3 this weekend, and I mean, it's, if you play the game, it's just, it is just like a weird incest eugenics simulator, because it's all about like, medieval royalty. So it's all about like, you marry and it's about creating your dynasty. And so then you always end up with these weird things where you're like, your uncle is trying to kill you, or you have to marry your cousin in order to get the throne of what have you, or a claim on one thing or another. And then your family ends up like inbred and degenerate, and that's the entire charm of the game.
Sure.
So that's what I've been spending my little me time doing, imagining myself being some wretched offspring.
Why not?
Of some horrible warlord. Why not?
Yeah, why not? It's a free country.
Shane, you should get the new Frontier Pass. You should get like the new downloadable content for Civ 6.
Oh, I did.
Oh, you did?
After we did the your trivia episode, and you hit me with the Apodum, and then you shamed me quite publicly.
Oh, right.
The Frontier Pass. I immediately got the Frontier Pass, and then I played as the Celts, trying to see what I could do with the Apodum, and I didn't realize I set up a whole. I did the whole like thing where you like set up the advanced settings for the game to like maximize my experience, and then I started building cities, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna rush for the Apodum. This is gonna be such a big boon for me. What a what a positive thing. And then I didn't realize, because you didn't include this in your trivia question, that the other element is that you can't build districts next to your city center, and there are no like adjacent bonuses from the districts.
They're different.
So I planned out all these fucking cities, and I just immediately got curb stomped. So thanks a lot.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
You can't lay the cities down the same as there are unique weird
Now
district,
you tell me.
District placement rules. But however, one interesting thing, and I can't take credit for this because I basically copied exactly what a YouTuber I've been watching does. But so what you can do with Gaul, and that's the current game I'm playing right now, is if you rush mining and then bronze working and then iron working. Iron working is where you get the Apodum, and then as soon as you build your first Apodum, you immediately unlock apprenticeship. An apprenticeship gives you, I don't know if you've noticed, one of the other new updates to the new Frontier Pass is the Man at Arms, which is a new unit that's halfway between the swordsman and the musketmen. And because as Gaul, you as soon as you build an Apodum, and you get them earlier than anybody else gets an industrial zone in the game, but as soon as you build one of those, you immediately unlock apprenticeship. You get that unit, the Man at Arms, like 80 or 90 turns before anybody else in the game does, and you literally have you cannot be stopped in like a military game. You just
nice.
It rules. Yeah,
I literally have no idea. What
just
you guys
take
are
one of them.
about.
one of them to each city, and just fucking doesn't matter if they have ancient walls, just fucking knock that bitch down. It rules.
Nice,
it's good.
nice.
To all our listeners out there, that's a very smart strategy that I came up with.
What game is it again?
Civ 6.
Love to conquer.
Okay.
Big fan of conquering.
Got it.
Yeah. Any other nice things that don't relate to pixels that we did? Well, that's it from us, folks.
The garden is really nice.
I'm looking at another David Dees photo or picture.
Oh no!
Like,
hit us.
Just do
last
it.
one.
Just
Let's
do
go.
it.
Last one.
It's like a very gremlin, like green looking, like goblin looking.
Oh,
he's like
no,
like a
Chris.
farmer or something. He's got a hat that says Roundup, and he's behind him is this big barn that says Monsanto on the side of it, and there's like a raven or a crow or something, and then like a corn, like this ear of corn center picture with like barbed wire around it. Very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. The raven, by the way, what reminded me, I don't know why I was looking this up earlier, but I remember when I lived in San Francisco that, like, for some weird reason, ravens and crows were, like, pretty much the only bird I ever saw, like, inside the city. And I was, like, trying to remember if I wanted to look up and see if, like, that's actually real or if I was just misremembering that because I was on drugs. But no, apparently, like, ravens and crows are, like, they have, like, by far outnumbered any other type of bird in the city over the past like 10 or 15 years. They've like taken over. It's like ravens and crows everywhere for some reason.
How's the cicada situation over there?
I can't say I've seen. It's not that crazy.
I haven't seen any.
I haven't seen that many. I heard
Thankfully.
didn't Biden's plane get grounded by cicadas or something crazy a couple days ago? yeah.
Comrade cicada.
Thank you, communist cicadas. You guys want to talk about lawns for 2 hours?
Absolutely not. Who gives a shit? All right. Hey, the stickers came in.
That's
you just
right. I did a
post
little
about that.
post.
Yeah.
And if you are hearing this, it's after I've already started mailing them out. So don't worry if you haven't updated your address. I will get to it when I finish the first batch of the list that I pulled.
And if this goes swimmingly, maybe we'll make some other doodads.
Sure. I'm gonna
some other things
knows
with
what we'll make.
Carrie's beautiful drawings, or maybe even I'll scribble a useless doodle or two.
Who knows?
And
Who knows what we'll do?
sell it as an NFT. Who knows?
Do not do that.
That's where the money is. Yeah.
Eat the rich NFT. Just like torching an acre of rainforest for communism.
I got a 5-year plan for you. All right, whatever. Let's get out of here. Let's go away.
Good night.
All right. Good
Love
night.
you. Bye.
I'm in love with you.
Thank you.
Wake up, sheeple! Get your heads up out the sand. You're just blind brainwashing the mind, and you ain't even trying now to understand. Wake up, sheeple! You got scales all up in your eyes. Y'all fools, unwitting kind of tools of the system, man, you don't even realize. I've been looking at the internet, man, it's got the stuff they don't want you to know. Talking about corruption and greed, man, you wouldn't believe how far up the conspiracy goes. What you want, evidence, man? That ain't evidence. That in itself is just proof of the scope of this vast old goddamn worldwide plot to control what you think, what you know. I'm like, nope, I gotta tell the people. Wake up, sheeple! Get your heads up out the sand. You're just blind brainwashing the mind, and you ain't even trying now to understand. Wake up, sheeple! You got scales all up in your eyes. Y'all fools, unwitting kind of tools of the system, man, you don't even realize. Wake up!